Listen to me closely, because I am only going to say this once. We are done with the toys. We are done with the polished walnut wall hangers that look pretty above the fireplace, but choke the second you introduce them to a little bit of dirt or stress. Today we are stripping away the marketing fluff to expose the raw, mechanical truth about the scattergun. We are looking at 712 gauge platforms that have earned their right to be in a serious tactical kit. These are not for the faint of heart. These are kinetic problem solvers designed for one thing: absolute dominance in close quarters environments. We are talking about systems that feed when your adrenaline is dumping, actions that cycle gritty ammunition without complaint, and ergonomics that make sense when your fine motor skills have left the building. Whether you are looking for home defense, duty use, or just a heavy hitter for the range, this list is your roadmap. We are ranking them based on field experience, recoil management, and pure, unadulterated reliability. But let's pivot to something that breaks every rule in the book: the KelTec KSG. This is a bullpup design that packs a massive amount of firepower into a package that is roughly 26 inches long. We are talking about dual magazine tubes, giving you a capacity of 7+7 rounds of 2 3/4 inch shells. That is 14 rounds of 12 gauge on tap without a reload. The KSG is polarizing. Some love it, some hate it, but you cannot deny the utility of that footprint. Because the action is behind the trigger group, all the weight sits against your shoulder. This makes it incredibly fast to transition between targets in a hallway or inside a vehicle. However, you have to respect the manual of arms. You must rack this weapon with authority. If you short-stroke the pump under stress, you will induce a malfunction. But for urban environments where space is at a premium, the KSG offers a volume of fire that is simply unmatched in its class. It is a specialized tool for a specialized mission, and when utilized correctly, it is a force multiplier. We have the reigning champion of tactical semi-autos for the modern shooter, the Beretta 1301 Tactical. For a long time, the semi-auto market was stagnant. Then Beretta dropped this masterpiece, and everything changed. The heart of this beast is the blink gas system. It uses a cross-tube gas piston that cycles 36% faster than any other system on the market. What does that mean for you? It means you can run this gun as fast as your trigger finger can move, and you will never outrun the bolt. It is lightweight, compact, and incredibly handy. With a barrel length usually around 18 inches, it swings fast and stops on a dime. The 1301 features an oversized charging handle and a massive bolt release right out of the box, addressing the main complaints people used to have with fighting shotguns. The recoil management on the 1301 is witchcraft. It takes full power double-aught buck and tames it down to a manageable shove. This allows for follow-up shots that are devastatingly fast. It is reliable with everything from light target loads to heavy defensive slugs. If you want a defensive shotgun that you can grab in the middle of the night and know it will dominate a hallway without punishing your shoulder, the Beretta 1301 is the current gold standard. It balances the raw power of the 12 gauge with the finesse of a high-end competition gun. But make no mistake, this is a weapon of war designed for the harsh realities of defensive use. But let's look at the runner-up, a platform that surprised everyone: the Remington V3 Tactical. While the 870 is the legend, the V3 is the modern evolution. This is a semi-automatic 12 gauge that utilizes the VersaPort gas system. This is an ingenious piece of engineering. The gas ports are located in the chamber area and are regulated by the length of the shell itself. When you fire a 2 3/4 inch shell, all ports are open. When you fire a 3-inch Magnum, the longer hull covers some of the ports, restricting the gas flow. This means the gun self-regulates. It shoots soft with light loads and doesn't beat itself to death with heavy loads. The recoil impulse on the V3 is arguably the softest in its class. It feels like a shove rather than a punch. The V3 Tactical usually sports an 18.5-inch barrel and oversized controls tailored for gloved hands. It bridges the gap between the ultra-expensive Italian imports and the budget-tier American guns. It is the working man's semi-auto. It lacks the extensive track record of the Benelli, but in testing, it has proven to be a flat-shooting, rapid cycling machine that allows you to put massive amounts of lead on target with surgical precision. It is the sleeper hit of the tactical world, and if you ignore it, you are missing out on one of the best shooting experiences on the market. We have the grandfather of American pump actions, the Remington 870 Tactical. This is the baseline. If you cannot run an 870, you have no business touching anything more expensive. We are talking about a milled steel receiver that feels like a bank vault. Standard configurations usually give you a capacity of 4+1 or 6+1, depending on your magazine tube extension. With an 18-inch barrel, this weapon balances aggression with maneuverability. When you rack the slide on an 870, it speaks a universal language. It is heavy, it is mechanical, and it is violent. The recoil on this platform is honest. It does not lie to you. It pushes back hard, but that weight in the front end keeps the muzzle down, allowing you to run that pump aggressively. This is the shotgun you hand to a new shooter to teach them respect for the 12 gauge. It eats everything. Low brass birdshot, high brass buckshot, law enforcement slugs. The 870 does not care. It is the ultimate insurance policy. If your semi-auto goes down because you forgot to clean the gas ports, the 870 will still be running. Now, we are going to shift gears completely. We are leaving the traditional tube-fed world behind and stepping into the future of kinetic energy delivery. A platform that has single-handedly disrupted the industry, the Genesis 12. If you run an AR-15 platform rifle, if that manual of arms is burned into your muscle memory, this is the shotgun you have been waiting for. The Genesis 12 is a 12 gauge that feeds from a box magazine and utilizes a short recoil operation that feels nothing like a traditional gas gun. It mimics the controls of the AR pattern rifle perfectly. The safety selector, the magazine release, the bolt catch, they are exactly where your fingers expect them to be. This means the training curve is practically zero for anyone who has spent time on a modern sporting rifle. You are not fumbling with a tube. You are dropping a magazine and slapping in a fresh 5 or 10 round box just like you would with your primary rifle. On the range, this thing is an absolute cheater. The recoil impulse is short, sharp, and linear. It does not have that long, rolling push of a standard semi-auto. It snaps back and settles instantly. The Terran tactical variants have made this famous, but even the base models are absolute workhorses. However, you need to understand the trade-off. Box magazines for shotguns are bulky. They change your kit setup. You cannot just stuff them in a pocket like loose shells. But if your mission profile demands the fastest possible reload speed, the Genesis 12 is the king of the hill. We are entering the podium territory now. These are the platforms that define what a fighting shotgun should be. The definition of American durability, the Mossberg 590. If the apocalypse kicked off tomorrow and I could only grab one scattergun to survive the end of days, this is the one I am taking. It is the big brother to the Mossberg 500, but it is built for war. The 590 is the only pump-action shotgun to pass the mil-spec 3443 torture test. That is not marketing hype. That is a fact written in government contracts. With a capacity of 7+1 or 8+1, a heavy-walled barrel, and Parkerized finishes, this weapon is a tank. The controls are where the Mossberg really shines over the competition. The safety is top-mounted on the tang, making it completely ambidextrous and visual. You can see your status without breaking your firing grip. On the range, the 590 feels different than the 870. The action is looser, but intentionally so. It is designed to run when it is full of mud, sand, or debris. It features dual extractors, meaning when you rack that slide, the spent shell is coming out whether it wants to or not. It is violent, it is loud, and it is absolutely dependable. For law enforcement or home defense where maintenance might be neglected, the 590 is the gold standard of set it and forget it. It devours less lethal rounds, exotic breaching rounds, and mini shells that would turn a semi-automatic into a paperweight. We have arrived at the summit. This is the platform that sits alone at the top of the mountain, the Benelli M4. To the United States Marine Corps, it is known as the M1014. This is not just a shotgun, It is a combat system designed to operate in environments where lesser machines crumble. The heart of the M4 is the ARGO system, auto-regulating gas-operated. It utilizes dual stainless steel pistons that are self-cleaning and incredibly simple. There are no complex O-rings or fragile linkages to fail. It was built to meet a military requirement that demanded it function without failure for thousands of rounds in the harshest conditions on Earth. Standard configurations usually give you a 7+1 capacity with an 18.5-inch barrel, often featuring a ghost ring sight system that is robust enough to hammer nails with. When you press the trigger on a Benelli M4, the experience is unique. The recoil impulse is short, sharp, and incredibly consistent. It does not feel soft in the way a gas-tuned competition gun might, but it feels utterly predictable. It cycles so fast that you are waiting on the physics of the target to react, not the gun. It is heavy, yes, but that weight absorbs the violence of full-power defensive loads. This is the weapon you choose when the maintenance schedule is non-existent and the threat level is maximum. It is expensive, often pushing north of $2,000, but you are paying for the peace of mind that comes with proven battlefield dominance. So, where does that leave us? We have looked at 7 distinct tools, not fashion statements. If your mission requires absolute mechanical simplicity and the ability to breach doors or run exotic ammunition, the Mossberg 590 and Remington 870 are your workhorses. Do not look down on them because they are manual. They will outlast you. If you are a modern shooter who wants the pinnacle of speed and fire superiority, the Beretta 1301 and the Benelli M4 are the semi-automatics that you can bet your life on. They have bridged the gap between reliability and rate of fire. If you are a rifleman at heart and you want to bring your AR-15 reload drills into the 12-gauge world, the Genesis 12 is the future. And for those fighting in phone booths or vehicles, the KelTec KSG solves geometry problems that nothing else can. But remember this final rule. The gear does not make you dangerous. The training does. You can buy a Benelli M4, but if you have not patterned your buckshot at 5, 10, and 15 yards, you are guessing, not shooting. You need to know exactly what your load does in your barrel. Buy the gun, but budget for 500 rounds of training ammo and a class. Build the muscle memory to clear malfunctions in the dark. If you want to survive the fight, you have to prepare for it. Smash that like button, subscribe for more no-nonsense hardware reviews, and tell me in the comments, which one of these would you trust to defend your front door? Stay safe, stay trained, and keep your powder dry.